I have a real fun video today. A subscriber reached out asking for some help on a drawing they've been working on. And to remain anonymous, I'm going to call the subscriber Gary for this video. Let's get into this. So here is the reference image and the sketch. Now I have to say here right off the bat, Gary did an awesome job. This is a tough scene to draw. There are so many small details. Not only is the shape really well done and accurate to our reference image, but the scale of all these mountains and the lake in the foreground is really accurate. But most impressively, you can really see he's starting to work the texture and all the different slopes of these mountains that then forms the different mountain sides and really gives them that nice dynamic shape. As he goes into the distance here, he's getting a little bit lighter with his values because of that atmospheric haze. So it really is just overall a really good job to start off. Now he admitted himself that he rushed these trees in the foreground and the lake a bit. He said that he was basically ready to be done with the drawing. But even here, I would say this is the beginning of a really well-developed forest. If you watch any of my Mount Rainier drawing videos I did a while back, this is really a test of patience and just going slow and doing little bits at a time. If he comes back to this drawing in the future, he could really just go over the top of these trees here and further develop them with some darker values. Okay, so let's get into some ways to help here. So what I see with a lot of people who are working to develop their drawing skills is they don't add these darker values and they stay relatively light. And I think that might be because they're afraid if they go too dark, it's going to be harder to erase them out. So you can see a lot of our values here are kind of in this 2B to maybe 2H range. Adding in these darker values is really going to start to add contrast and make then your highlight areas pop. And that's what's going to start to create the texture and further develop your drawings. So as we can see down with these trees here, we're going to start adding in these darker values to really shape those trees in our shoreline here. But if you've watched my tutorial on how to draw a forest, you can see he's got those first layers of building that texture already going. So we're just going to go back in over that and start layering in the shadows. And that way we can really start to develop our trees here, making little marks. And I want to make sure to leave some of his values behind because the contrast between the different values is going to start to create that tree texture. So we want those lighter values first, and then we're just going over it with our darker values and shadows here. To really bring your drawings to the next level, you need to add that contrast and build your textures, get into those shadows, and you can't be afraid to add in those darker values. So down here by the shoreline, there's a lot more shadows, but as we get up here, it's more just going to be little dots. And again, I'm trying to base it off of the texture he's already developed with some of his lighter values. But as we go into the distance, of course, we want to make our marks smaller and smaller. But you can see how time-consuming this is. So I think the real struggle here is being patient in order to make all this happen, right? That's why on that Mount Rainier drawing I mentioned, it took me months and months to accomplish all those trees. These darker shadows, they go down into the lake here as well. So we want to continue some of those shadows even into the lake. You can see we want to be a little bit fuzzier here. There's just this little bit of light hitting the shoreline, and we're starting to see the reflection into the lake here. Gary has such a good foundation here. The biggest keys here, I think, to bringing this drawing to the next level are going darker in his values and starting to add in these little details to make everything start working together. Of course, you can see on the left, the sun is hitting these more. But Gary did a great job. These trees are much lighter, but it's just the same thing over here. You're just adding a little less of these darker values. Of course, when you're just doing drawings for fun, it can be hard to want to commit to this sort of effort. But if Gary ever decides to come back, this could be a good exercise for when he is working on a drawing that he really does want to commit the time to. Again, it's really a test of patience here. So in addition to adding some shadows and darker values in these trees, you can also see up here in some of these mountains, we can start to add in some darker values as well. And just like he did here, which he did a great job, I'm just following the slope that he's already established, but I just want to make them a little bit darker to match our reference image. But additionally, the contrast here is going to make our drawing pop a lot more. We're just committing to some of these shadowy bits, right? So don't be afraid to add contrast and go darker. And doing this also will hide these lines that Gary made on his first initial outline. Because of course in nature there aren't any lines. These lines are created by the contrast between our background and foreground elements. So again, it's pretty similar with the trees here. We're just adding some darker values. Instead of sitting in just this small little range, expanding the range of your values is going to give your drawings more visual interest. It'll make your highlights pop more. Your textures can be developed more. So as you're working on your drawings, if you're wondering, why does it seem flat, or why is it not sort of popping as much as it should, think about where can I add some of these darker values and shadows. But just like he did here, I'm following his directional lines on the slope. I'm just committing to these darker shadows. So over here it's the same thing. We can see this line a little bit. And so I'm just going to commit and go a little bit darker and start to hide these. And you can see that really started to form, this side getting a little bit of sun, and this side is in our shadows, right? So if Gary ever comes back to this, it's just sort of committing to those things throughout, trying to hide these lines a little bit. Similar up here as with our trees. This is a great beginning of building this texture. It's just now you want to go over the top and add some darker little marks throughout. Up here as well, this should be a little bit darker. We're just not being afraid to start doing all what Gary has done. Just continue it a little bit darker, right? This is in the distance, so we can be really loose. You're just trying to give the impression of the texture. We're not trying to draw anything, exact. We're more mimicking the texture rather than what this actually is, which is probably trees and brush. We're just committing to those shadows a bit more. Okay, so now down here on our lake, he just shaded in the water a little bit, but how can we enhance this just a little bit? You can see he's got some rocks down here. It's the same thing. I would just start filling in the shadows. Also, I would add in these rocks over here just because it adds some visual interest rather than just having, kind of a lightly shaded in water. We're just trying to give our drawings dimension, right? So the next thing on the water, as mentioned earlier, I'd continue the shadows of these trees coming down, right? And when you're drawing water, if it's not still, you want to make everything a little bit fuzzy like we are here. So using the dull part of my pencil lead here, just trying to keep it a little bit fuzzy. Of course, if you want to further enhance that, take a blending stump and just give it a little bit more of a fuzzy look. Don't go too crazy. You just want to give it a little bit of sort of a hazy, shadowy look as the water sort of rippling through it. I'll put a link to some beginning drawing tools down in the description if you're interested, which includes some pencils and also some blending stumps. I do make a small commission off those, but it all goes back to support me and the channel. But in addition to starting to add in more shadows and contrast in our rocks, the reflection of these trees is going to start to build more of that perception of this being water down here. Additionally, what I would do here, and it's a little bit hard to see, there is a little bit of our mountain reflected in some of the water here. I would just start to add a little bit of those reflections in, go a little bit darker. This isn't the best paper to do this. This is just a piece of printer paper. So I don't quite know how this is going to work here, but just start to add a little bit of those sort of hazy reflections in. Another way to achieve this is if you just have a really dark blending stump and just give some impression of different things in your background here reflecting in the water. You want to, again, keep this really hazy and pretty soft because it's just super subtle here. But again, it's just giving that impression of water reflecting. If your water is more calm and still, obviously this is all going to be a more direct reflection. you're going to see more details and everything. So that's going to depend on the scene that you're drawing. So to help build this water, we have our rocks, we have our tree, shadowy reflections. We're starting to build sort of some hazy details reflecting up here. We also want to start to enhance the shoreline a bit, just making this, again, darker contrast, a little bit more definitive here. Normally, where you have your shoreline, there's some highlights of the dirt or sand or rocks. Then where the water and shoreline connect, it's normally a bit darker before then going out to the lighter blue water. So you, again, commit more to those darker shadows here to further enhance that. You know, down here we have some shadows coming out a little bit. We'll just bring all those out. And as we continue on and start to work our trees more up here, this is all really going to come together. You're going to really want to be more patient with everything that I'm doing and spend a lot of time on it. But for that, I would say, what is the goal of your drawing? If the goal of your drawing is to be on your wall, you know, really commit to the time. But if you're just doing it as a sketch, just do small little sections. Over here, again, we're just going to add a little bit, it's a little bit more sunlight over here. We're just going to add a little bit of some darker values here. One other suggestion I have is when you're first mapping out your drawing, similar to probably what Gary did here, I outline everything just to space it out, right? That way you get your scales and proportions accurate. But then what I like to do, as opposed to going back in and tackling all the details and shadows at one time, my preference is usually to just do like a small section and layer in all those initial lighter values and then begin to work on the darker values and details in just that small section before moving on to this next section. Because trying to see the entire drawing here at once and add in all the darker values and details simultaneously, that can be more overwhelming as opposed to finishing off a small section and locking everything in before moving into the next section. It breaks it down so it's a little bit more approachable rather than trying to take everything in at once. It makes it just a little bit more manageable. But of course, do it whichever way you prefer to work. So my big notes for Gary here are, don't be afraid to add in those darker values. Start creating the contrast and getting into those shadowy areas. And I think just as a whole, once you start getting into details, one of the big things that you might not often think about is you have to be patient with yourself. And as Gary admitted himself, he was feeling a bit rushed and ready to be done with it. You know, if that's the case, think about just setting this drawing aside for a while, weeks or months, whatever it takes before you say to yourself, let's continue on. If anybody else is working on a drawing that they're looking for help on, feel free to email it to me. Now, it is helpful if you took the reference image photo yourself. So like I mentioned, Gary, great job here. I hope some of these tips helped. And I also want to thank you for trusting in me and having the courage to put your work out there. I know that's not an easy thing to do, and it can be a little bit scary. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.